On behalf of our chairman, Mr. Bashir Karimji, the directors of Emtel, and my colleagues from Emtel, I wish you all a warm welcome to this special press conference today. 29th May 1989, Emtel was born, and we created history. We created history because we were the first mobile operator, not just in Mauritius, but also in the entire Southern Hemisphere. We have since evolved into a total telecommunication solutions provider, and we have played an instrumental role in shaping the telecommunications landscape in the country. Today, on our 35th anniversary, we are about to create history again. For this, ladies and gentlemen, let me invite the gentleman who had this vision, who had this courage, not to say the guts, to pioneer mobile telephony, not only in Mauritius, but the entire Southern Hemisphere. The driving force behind what Emtel is today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman of Emtel, Mr. Bashir Karimji.
Thank you, Krish, for the kind words. It's a long story. Long time ago, I never imagined that we would be such a company today when you look at it 35 years ago. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you all this morning for this auspicious birthday of 35 years. And I especially welcome the press and the media who are here today to listen to this story. Just as a start, to tell you that when we started 35 years ago, nobody would have imagined what telecommunications, how it would evolve. Neither did we, neither did the world. Very few people had an insight into how it was going to develop. We recently published our intention to float the company, and we are pleased to inform you that now we have received all the regulatory approvals, and today we will be releasing the prospectus. Today, the 29th of May, 35 years ago when Emtel started. Indeed, it's a momentous occasion. As Emtel goes public, it will be the first telecommunications operator to be listed on the stock exchange. Can you all hear? I think you don't even need the speaker. It's a great opportunity for institutions and individual investors to accompany us in this journey. As from today, everyone can subscribe to the shares of the company. Firstly, I would like to say a few words about Emtel before Krish, our CEO, who's going to provide you with more deeper insights into Emtel and the details of the offer shortly. Many of you who are 35 years or older would remember the story of Emtel. It was the pioneer of mobile telephony in the Southern Hemisphere, as Krish told us. So much so that in those days when we started, it became a household name for a mobile telephony. Even when our competitors came out with that telephone, sign Emtel, sir. You know, it was like a household name. At the time when we applied for our license, which was just before 1989, the country had only 40,000 telephone lines in Mauritius, fixed telephone lines. And this represented a penetration. The population was 1 million or so at that time. It represented 4% telecom penetration. And the waiting time to get a telephone was 2 years. So if you didn't have a telephone, if you wanted to start a business, you couldn't operate without a telephone. You had to wait for 2 years. Those were the times when the World Bank was forecasting that for every 10% growth in penetration, it translated into a 1% growth in GDP. So telecommunications was very important for the economy and for the growth of a country. The first handheld telephone was commercially available in America in 1983. And Mauritius introduced the mobile telephony only 6 years later through Emtel as the first cellular operator in the southern hemisphere. This was quite an achievement because even in many European countries, you didn't have mobile telephones at that time. Forget there was none in Africa. In the late 1980s, the regulatory environment was very nascent. In the early 2000s, with the advent of ICTA, the regulatory body, the liberalization of the telecommunications sector, and the government played a very important role in speeding up this industry. Today, the country has around 180% penetration of telephony in Mauritius. That is mobile and fixed telephone lines. There are about 300,000 fixed lines. Of course, very few people use a fixed line. Even if you have one at home, you'll probably use the mobile more often. But there are about 1.7 million mobile telephones or devices. So today we have around 180% penetration as compared to 35 years ago, we had only 4% penetration. And with the growth of the economy, this was absolutely essential to have a strong and vibrant mobile industry or telephony industry. So we pride ourselves for having played a major role in developing the telecommunications sector in the country and in our contribution to the nation's economic growth. Emtel has evolved considerably over the years, moving from a pure telephony player into a leading telecommunications and ICT provider, solutions provider, and now entering the technology and fintech sector. Later on, Krish will give you more details in this respect. Emtel has always played a key role in bringing the best of technologies to Mauritius, whether it is for the benefit of individuals, homes, and enterprises. When we launched Emtel in 1989, little could we or anyone imagine the power of mobile telecommunications as we see it today. But over the years, Emtel has introduced a number of products and services for all market segments, propelling the development of the country in new areas and becoming an integral part of our daily lives of our customers and staying ahead of the technology curve. We certainly did not imagine 35 years ago that Emtel would evolve from a mobile company to a telecommunications company and now to a technology company, offering internet, enterprise services, payment apps, satellite services, and content, amongst other services. Over these 35 years, Emtel has seen consistent growth and profitability. The company has consistently been paying dividends year on year, and we have a dividend policy which is explained in our prospectus. Today, we stand on the brink of even more innovation and services that we cannot yet imagine. Connectivity continues to evolve and offer more bandwidth and speed. Cloud and artificial intelligence will offer more possibilities. Hardware devices are becoming more powerful and more versatile. More enterprises are leveraging technology to create enhanced customer experience, and data analytics is becoming even more focused and powerful. In all these instances, Emtel will be at the crossroads, creating more opportunities for our customers, for our country, and it will branch out into new products and services as we have done over our last 35 years. I am convinced that it will be even more exciting and enriching future at the service of our country and customers. We have also taken the opportunity as we prepare to be listed to review our board and welcome the addition not only of Krish Gumani and as executive director, and Saud Idu, who's our financial controller, and also as an executive director, but also 4 new independent directors that collectively have a wealth of experience across different areas, which only strengthen Emtel. I'm happy to say we have 2 of our independent directors amongst us today. Emtel's decision to go public is a game changer that will not only benefit the company, but also the nation as a whole. By offering 25% of its shares to the public, Emtel is inviting Mauritian and international investors to be part of its journey of growth and success. This move will not only provide Mauritians with an opportunity to invest in one of the nation's most promising companies, but will also foster a sense of ownership and pride in Emtel's achievements. As we prepare to share our vision with the world, we invite investors to join us in shaping a smarter future of technology in connectivity, where every connection becomes a gateway to limitless possibilities. I once again thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your presence here today, and I'll ask Krish to give us a little presentation on Emtel for the benefit of the press. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, to take us down memory lane and also to give us an insight of what the future is for us and where Emtel is going to be together with its customers. I'll take you through a few slides to give you an overview of what Emtel is today. We've been saying it since this morning. We are no longer the mobile telecommunications operator that started operations back in 1989. We have come a long way since then. And 35 years later, we stand here before you as a leading ICT and telecommunication services provider in the country. We count around 450 employees to serve our 800,000 customers. That is done through direct sales or also through our showrooms. We have 18 of them in Mauritius, and we also partner with just over 5,000 retail outlets who sell our connections and also sell airtime recharges. The basis of our business is our infrastructure. We have a network of 482 sites. Those are the sites which provide wireless communications to our mobile phones today. And in terms of technology, we have the latest technology, which is 5G. And the 5G that we have is providing coverage, not only the widest in Mauritius, but also the widest in Africa when it comes to population coverage. And I'll come to that in more details in subsequent slides. We also have our own inland fiber infrastructure. We have capacity on all the submarine cables that come in and out of Mauritius and connect Mauritius to the world and connect Mauritius to Rodrigues. We have our own data center. In fact, it was the first of its kind data center in Mauritius since 2012. And very recently, we've added 2 new product lines to our business. One is our mobile payment app, Blink, and the other one is a company that we have put in place, a 100% owned company by Emtel called Emtel Technopolis, which is housing the ground station for a low Earth orbit satellite provider in the world. And that low Earth orbit satellite is called Eutelsat OneWeb. It is the first and only one of its kind in the region. From a financial perspective, we're looking at ending the year with around 3.8 billion rupees. That's up 13% compared to 2023. We're looking at an EBITDA of around 1.8 billion rupees. That's up 17% against 2023. We're looking at a profit of 530 million rupees. Again, that's up around 35% compared to 2023. And we're looking at distributing dividends to the tune of 700 million rupees this year, of which 130 has already been paid to the existing shareholders. So 570 million is expected to be paid towards December or January, subject to the performance and also approval to the board. But I can already tell you, the first 4 months of the year is looking much, much better than the same period in 2023 and is in line with our projections. So investing in Emtel now is guaranteeing you, between commas, some dividends towards the end of the year. If we have to talk about everything that Emtel has done since 1989, it will take us a long time. In fact, probably more than 35 minutes, if not even 35 hours, if we have to really go into the details. There are more than 35 things that we've done where we have been doing things first time in Mauritius. But I'll take you through probably just a couple of them. The first, as you already know and you've been hearing since this morning, is the first mobile operator in Mauritius and the Southern Hemisphere back in 1989. The second is the first to introduce prepaid in Mauritius in 1998, sorry. And this is what had boosted the adoption of mobile telephony in Mauritius after a number of years. But it was also coupled with the decline in prices of mobile handsets. The third is the first 3G network in Africa. We were the first mobile telephony operator in the Southern Hemisphere. Obviously, a number followed suit in the Southern Hemisphere and in Mauritius. But when it came to technology, the first 3G was us in the entire of Africa. We were the first operator to provide services in Agalica. We were also the first operator in Mauritius to provide 4G. And as I mentioned earlier, the first operator in Mauritius to provide a data center per se in 2012. In 2016, 2017, we did realize that data is going to be the new buzz, and we started investing heavily in our data network. And in 2016 and 17, we introduced in Mauritius the concept of unlimited packs, unlimited data packs, unlimited voice packs, unlimited SMS packs. Since then, the adoption of data had just shot up the roof. Everybody today keeps their mobile data on because they're paying a fixed price for it for the month. So the usage of data is really picking up. So we introduced the concept of unlimited data packs in Mauritius. We're still the only one that provides for plug-and-play, high-speed wireless internet to the homes. this has enabled 50,000 households to get access to the internet and bridge the digital divide, because otherwise these households would not have had access to the internet and the information age. We were the first to implement wide-scale 5G in Mauritius back in 2022. And you are also probably aware, we are the first operator-led consortium that brought a submarine cable in Mauritius in 2021 by the name of Metis, on the eve of the second lockdown. This cable has proved itself because it catered for the much required redundancy and capacity, not only during the time of lockdown, but also later on, to carry all the traffic that is required out of Mauritius. And I also talked about the first fintech app in Mauritius back in 2022, and the only ground station of its kind in Mauritius in 2023. It's important also to note that Emtel is the only operator that operates in Mauritius, in Rodrigues, and Agalega. The only operator to do so. We also have an ESG strategy, and all our initiatives are built around three main pillars: environmental protection, social inclusion, and our own human capital. Just like any other company, we do a lot of things for our own staff, whether it is upskilling, whether it is everything that we can do to make work fun, but we also work. A number of activities, like today is our 35th anniversary. We're going to gather our employees at Emtel World and have a small event. But we also put emphasis on mental wellness, which is something very, very important in these days. From a social inclusion perspective, we work on a number of projects with NGOs and NPOs to come to help to the needy and children. In 2023, we partnered with 44 such organizations in 25 projects to the tune of around 11 million rupees to help those in need. From an environmental preservation perspective, we do a number of things that a number of companies do, whether it is reforestation, beach cleanups, going digital, reduce use of paper, reduce waste. But there's one thing that we are the only ones to do in Mauritius, is the recycling of electronic waste. We started that just before the first lockdown in 2019, that was the end of 2019. And we are very proud to say that until now, we have recovered around 22 tons of office electronic waste, including mobile phones, batteries, chargers, USB sticks, small printers and all that, for recycling, together with our partner, Bisson Vert. This is a way for us to give to society in the business that we are in. I mentioned earlier, and the chairman also mentioned, we've evolved and we've come a long way since 1989. Today we have the infrastructure, the products, the services, and the solutions to serve individuals, to serve homes, to serve enterprises, to serve content providers, and also to serve satellite operators. We have a full suite of products and services, whether it is 5G mobile data, 5G home internet, enterprise solutions, cybersecurity solutions, connectivity solutions, satellite ground station, and mobile payment solutions. Since we started operation, we have been evolving in our traditional line of business, which was the telecom business, but we have also adopted 2 new lines of business. Other than the telco, which provides the basis of our infrastructure and the services to home enterprises and all that, we have also entered the fintech business. through a 100% owned subsidiary called Emtel MFS, and the mobile payment app Blink, which I'm sure you're all aware of and using. And if you're not using, please use it. You won't use any other mobile payment app. The third business vertical is space economy. This is very new in Mauritius, in the scale that we are in. It's a business that we've entered, and I'm going to give you more details later on, to provide services to those companies who have low Earth orbit satellites, obviously in space. We'll now take a look at the different verticals that I mentioned just now. So the first one is the telco vertical. That is the vertical that consists of our wireless network of 482 sites. And this is also the vertical where we provide services to enterprises, to homes, individuals, satellite operators, and also content providers. This vertical rests on 4 robust infrastructure. And the first infrastructure is our wireless network of 482 sites, where we provide services, and in technology terms, I'm sure you know about it. Probably you don't know what 2G is. It's already very old, but some people still use it. 2G, 3G, 4G, and recently 5G. Now we only speak 5G. Obviously, we are backward compatible. So you don't have a 5G phone, you will get 4G. I won't talk about 2G, 3G, 4G, because these are basically for us almost history. We'll talk about 5G. We cover 78% of the population in Mauritius. It's by far the widest 5G network and coverage in Mauritius, but not just in Mauritius, also in Africa when we look at population coverage. And we were also, through Emtel, Mauritius had the first 5G covered airport in this region. Our 5G network is award-winning. Last year in September, we won the fastest mobile network in Mauritius through our 5G network. And the results for this year are going to come in a month's time, and we are confident that we're going to get the same award second time in a row for the fastest mobile network in Mauritius. The second robust infrastructure that we have is our inland fiber network. We have more than 620 kilometers of inland fiber network on our road. So it's our own fiber, it's our own duct, and it's our own overhead network that we have. These connect around 80% of our sites today. And we're looking at connecting 90% of our sites towards the end of the year, if not towards middle of next year. It's well needed to carry the traffic that is required for 5G data. Our fiber network also covers the business districts of Mauritius, whether it is Eben, whether it is Cupip, whether it is Port Louis, whether it is Pai, whether it is Grand Bay, and also the coastal lines where our sites are. Most of the services that we provide on the fiber today is to our own sites, but it's also for B2B, so for business to business. On a number of occasions, we are also offering fiber to the home, and that concerns multi-dwelling units and RES, PDS sites where our fiber runs, so we extend the fiber to provide fiber to the home services. The third infrastructure that we have is our submarine cable capacity. We have submarine cable capacity on all the 3 cables or 4 cables that link Mauritius to the world and to Rodrigues. And those are Mars, Safe, Lion, and Metis. Metis is a private-owned cable, and we were the lead consortium member driving Metis. And as I mentioned earlier, it came into service in March 2021. Now, when fiber leaves Mauritius, okay, there's one area that it goes towards the east, but when going to Europe, there's no fiber that links Mauritius directly to Europe. All the fibers have to land in Africa. And there are 3 or 4 landing stations in Africa, Mombasa and a couple of them in South Africa. And then from there, you connect to other fibers that go to Europe. And there are two ways to go to Europe, towards east of Africa and towards west of Africa. We have diversified our capacity on as many cables as we can to reach Europe, whether it is from the east or from the west to reach Europe. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you're aware that there are two fiber cuts currently around Africa. One is on SAT3 cable on the west of Africa, and the other one is on EIG cable in the Red Sea. These cables are cut for quite some time and still not repaired. Because we have diversified our capacity on different cables, on as many cables as we can, the cuts on these cables haven't impacted us at all. So we have been operating normally despite the cable cuts that we know of. So that is what we do, and that is why we say our assets or our submarine cable infrastructure is very robust. It is the way we have designed and planned things. The fourth robust infrastructure is our data center. Our data center was the first of its kind data center in Mauritius back in 2012. It was tier 3 rated by design and by construction. It has undergone the test of cyclone, the test of lightning, and the test of heavy rains. It is the only data center in Mauritius that can boast 100% uptime since 2012. So it's been working 24/7, 365 days a year for the past 12 years, and it's still going strong. It won the EU Code of Conduct Award for Energy Efficient Data Center. I know we don't have solar power yet, but the way we designed it and the way we consume power won us the EU COC award. It is the data center where we host local customers as well as international customers. There are quite a couple of customers from Africa and from Europe who host their BCP or business continuity plan or disaster recovery servers in our data center in Mauritius. It is also the place that we use to provide cloud services in a redundant and secure mode to our customers. I mentioned our second vertical for revenue is fintech. We started in the fintech business in May 2022. We just celebrated 2 years. And when we started, we were the first mobile payment app that allowed customers having accounts in different banks in Mauritius to link their bank accounts on a single app. So if you have Blink on your phone, you can link your bank accounts from many banks if you have bank accounts in the different banks. Before we came, you had to have an app for each bank and then decide which app to use to make your payments. But with Blink, you can connect all your bank accounts in different banks, obviously in Mauritian rupees, and then use Blink to choose which bank account you want to use to make whatever payments, whether it is bill payments, whether it is merchant payments, whether it is P2P transfer, you want to transfer money to someone else. We were the first one. And mobile payments in Mauritius, despite what we see, is still in a nascent stage in the country. So Blink has enormous potential to grow. We started in only 2 years ago. But last year, in 2023, we transacted a total volume of 3 billion rupees. Today, as we speak, we are doing around 300,000 transactions a month for around 500 million rupees. So we are well on our way to reach 5 to 6 billion rupees worth of transaction value in 2024. Now, we all know mobile payment apps. There are quite a few of them in Mauritius, but believe me, by far the best is Blink. What do we do with it? We pay bills, we pay merchants, we transfer money from one account to another. We can even set what we call auto payments. So rather than having a direct debit at the bank, you can have an auto payment to pay your Emtel bills or other bills. But a mobile payment app is not just that. There are many other things that we can do with it. And there are many other projects that we at Emtel have already embarked into. And I'll tell you probably 3 or 4 of them. The first one is very soon, and I'm hopeful probably as soon as next week, you will be able to use Blink when you travel to India and use it on 50 million outlets where you see a QR code written UPI. So going to India tomorrow becomes very easy when it comes to transactions for payments. You only have to have your phone, Blink on it, data or Wi-Fi, scan codes and make payments. So no need to convert Mauritian rupees into dollars or euros and then convert into Indian rupees. You will be able to use Blink and your phone to make the payment. So this will be launched imminently. The second one is international money remittance or money remittance to coup. Mauritians sending money abroad or expat living in Mauritius sending money back in their countries, but also the Mauritian diaspora abroad sending money to people in Mauritius. We are well into this project. We are awaiting the final go-ahead from the Bank of Mauritius to ensure that we can launch this product well before end of the year. Now we want to go a step further. We want Blink to become a universal app. So in any country you go, we want people to be able to use Blink to make payments as long as there is a wireless POS machines that accept tap and pay. So we want to convert Blink into a tap and pay payment app. So you go to anywhere in the world, you want to make a payment, there's a wireless POS machine. Instead of tapping your credit card to pay, you can use your phone and tap it to pay via Blink. The money is deducted in all instances. Money is deducted from your bank account in Mauritian rupees in Mauritius. This is also a project that we are well into. We are awaiting the final approval from the Bank of Mauritius and obviously some tweaks in order to launch. We're hopeful to be able to launch that before end of the year as well. And you know, the payment app can also evolve into a service app, which means you don't necessarily use it to make payments only, but also use it to contract services such as insurances, but also contract microloans. So there are so many things that we want to do with this app to encourage adoption and also obviously encourage usage. And you know, do as what many countries do in the world, go almost cashless, whether it is Africa and Europe. The third revenue stream I spoke about was the satellite ground station. We have constructed a satellite ground station for Eutelsat OneWeb, who is a satellite services provider for the airborne industry, the maritime industry, and also remote locations. They needed to have a ground station in Mauritius, and this is a project where we had bid against an RFP and a tender that we won. So we have purchased land, we have built 21 satellite, we have 21 satellites for them, for the ground station, and a data center. So this allows Eutelsat OneWeb to provide a seamless service from Australia all the way to Africa, or from Mauritius all the way to the north, whether it is for airlines, whether it is for ships, and whether it is for remote locations. Now, we have enough land there to develop into a new cable landing station, a solar farm, another data center, but dealing in this project has given us the experience probably to set up another of its kind satellite ground station for another satellite provider in Mauritius or even there. It also gives us the opportunity to bid for telemetry services for companies that launch satellites in the air. So there are a lot of opportunities that opens up for Emtel Technopolis going forward. The chairman mentioned Emtel has been paying dividends consistently over the past years. And this chart gives you an indication of what dividends we've been paying since 2021. I mentioned earlier, this year we're looking at paying 700 million rupees in dividends this year, of which 130 million has already been paid. So there are 570 million that will be paid towards the end of the year. Our plan is to pay dividends twice a year, or declare dividends twice a year, in June and December. We are also looking at paying 700 million in 2025 and around 800 million in 2026. If you do the maths, you will see that it's a good return. So for every share this year, for 6 months that you invest, you have the chance of getting 1.25 rupees in dividend. Next year, 1.5 rupees in dividend. And the subsequent year, around 1.7 rupees for each share that you have invested, which is a dividend yield of 5%, 5.4%, 6.7%, and 7% respectively for 24, 25, and 26. So if I have to summarize why it is a good investment opportunity for anyone considering to invest in the stock exchange, not only Emtel is going to be the first technology company or the first telecommunications operator to be listed on the stock exchange of Mauritius, but it's also a leading ICT company in Mauritius, an agile company, an innovative company that has always brought the best of technologies in the country. It has a proven record as innovator. It has consistently been paying dividends and promises to pay dividends over the coming years as well. It is evolving in a market that has a lot of potential for growth with 5G, whether it is 5G mobile data, whether it is 5G high-speed internet to the homes, whether it is services to enterprises, whether it is the opportunities that opens up in the mobile payment space, or it is the opportunities that opens up in the space economy. I'll now take you to probably what is more interesting to you and what you will be reporting in your articles. That is the offer summary. So Emtel, or the shareholders of Emtel, are going to put to the public 25% of the shares that starts trading as, that opens up for purchase today. And today, CJ and Company Limited holds around 75% of the shares, and ICIL, an investment arm based in Mauritius, around 25%. After the share offer, CJ will go down to around 60% or 60% of the shares in Emtel, and ICIL 15%. And the 25% would be are open, and obviously will be held by the public and some institutions. We will reveal the prospectus in a few minutes. So the offer opens today. It closes on 21st of June, and the listing date is scheduled for 5th of July 2024 at the Stock Exchange of Mauritius. It's also important to note that during the process of going IPO, we had an independent company that that we do not work with to do an evaluation of the company. And they valued each share of Emtel, or the group of Emtel, at 26 rupees 41. And the board has taken the decision that when we are going to list the shares, would give 13% discount so that the share on offer is at 23 rupees per share. The minimum number of shares that one has to purchase is 1,000. So basically a minimum of 1,000 shares, but thereafter you can buy in multiples of 100. So you can buy minimum 1,000 or 1,100, 1,200, etc. We have worked with a number of advisors, and from a broker perspective, we have worked with MCB Capital Markets as our sponsoring broker. For somebody to buy shares in Emtel, if that person has a CDS account, so that person has bought shares in other companies, it's easier for them. They already have a CDS account. They go to the investment broker, they say, I'm interested to buy shares in Emtel, so many shares, they fill in the papers, and it's done. But for somebody who's never bought shares on the stock market, they will have to open up a CDS account. And for that, they can go to the investment broker or MCB Capital Markets. There are 6 brokers who are listed on page 200 of the prospectus. You'll have the names. So you can go to them, or you can go to MCB Capital Markets. They will assist you in filling the forms, opening up the CDS account, and buy the shares. Obviously, you will need your KYC, which is required by the regulations. It is your ID card, your proof of address, and also your bank details. And if you have a CDS account, your CDS number, but also probably a copy of your CDS statement, at least the top part where it shows your name and your CDS account. So that's all from me, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it is my opinion that investing in Emtel is a good buy, and I'm hopeful that a number of you would purchase some shares in Emtel and participate in our growth story. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, we'll be pleased to try and answer them. Any questions? Mr. Kamlesh.
Yes, so from the proceeds of the 25%, how much will be distributed to the shareholders?
To the existing shareholders?
Yes.
All of them go to the existing shareholders.
100% of them exclude
Yes.
after deductions?
Yes, but there's also an employee share scheme, which CJ and Company Limited are putting at the disposal of employees. Otherwise, all of them go to the shareholders. This is something that was already under discussion since quite some time. But even after the share sale, Karimjee Jiwanji still stays as the majority shareholder at 60%. It is good, you know, prior to that they were at 50%, and the other 50% was with Millicom back until 2014 or 2015. When Millicom decided to sell, Karimjee Jiwanji and Company Limited bought the remaining shares, so they were 100%, until ICIL purchased 25% of the shares. So today, 75, they'll go down to 60, sorry, but they'll still be better than what they were prior to 2014.
And based on your market analysis, do you expect healthy appetite from the local investors, local institutional investors, foreign investors, foreign PE funds?
Yes, I do. Ever since our intention to float, I've been getting a lot of messages to talk more about the prospectus and the price, etc., which I obviously cannot do. But as from an hour down from now, I'm going to send them a lot of messages to tell them how to download the prospectus and how to apply. That is for individuals. Yes, we have a lot of local institutions who are interested, and a number of institutions from abroad as well, in Africa and in Europe.
So in the eventuality of an oversubscription, do you plan to add more to the 25%?
Not for now. Not for now. If there is an oversubscription, we'll discuss it at the board on how we will be allocating the 25% of the shares which are on offer to, I'm assuming, on a pro-rate basis to whoever had been applying for the shares. So thank you for that question. In fact, when you're purchasing shares, you are applying to purchase shares. If you have an interest for 1,000 shares, if there's an oversubscription, obviously it doesn't mean that you're going to get the 1,000 shares that you have applied for. So in the case of oversubscription and you get less than what you have applied for, the money will be refunded back into the account, into your account, by the 10th of July. So we're listing on 5th, the money will be refunded by the 10th of July. Any other question? Okay, so if we do not have any question, may we please proceed with the reveal? Chairman, Anil, Iqbal, and Saud.